To the prosperity of a nation, let peace reign. On the news this evening, local vigilantes kill suspected kidnappers in Ogbogoro community, River State. Court remands teacher for allegedly defiling 3-year-old. Farga Council chairman to pay compensation to Mile 3 market traders affected by Tuesday's fire incident. River State House of Assembly holds special valedictory session for late former speaker. UNICEF asked federal government to prosecute bandits for raping, killing women and children. On the foreign scene, British nurse found guilty of murdering 7 babies. I am Kala Dakurubatapo. Good evening. Two suspected kidnappers were killed last night in Ogbogoro community in Obiakpo local government area by members of the Akpo Ospak. The Akpo Ospak also handed over one person and the rifles recovered from the suspects to the Ozwoba police division. It was guarded that the suspected kidnappers were killed during a gun battle with members of Ospak while fleeing from Rumukwashi, where they had gone to kidnap a businesswoman. The businesswoman, Constance Zigadina, in an interview with correspondent Emeka Otuka, narrated her ordeal with the kidnappers.
I was in my shop around 7 o'clock. I decided to close. Not quite long. I heard a sound. Yeah, immediately I looked back. Look at 2 men armed with masks. Said, enter that car. I sat on the floor immediately. They started beating me. They were hitting me. We were there like 20 minutes. Until when I heard one voice, somebody from afar was shouting, Asawana, Asawana, Asawana. And one was about shooting me. One in the car now said, don't shoot her. Master said we should bring her alive. Immediately they heard that voice. That one in the car now said, come, they are coming. Come, enter the car. They left me because I was still on the floor.
Husband Andy Zigadina spoke on how they contacted members of Akpo Ospak while the suspected kidnappers fled the scene.
Because of the gunshots, it created awareness. Luckily, their vehicle got spoiled, just 100, 200 meters away from the scene. So they were pushing it. It gave us ample time to make calls. That was how the Ospak gunned down. 2 were gunned down by the special grace of God. 1 is arrested and 1 escaped. In short, I must use this opportunity to appreciate them. Ospak tried so much yesterday.
The vice chairman of Akpo Ospak, David Amadi, also spoke.
Yesterday, early in the evening, we were alerted by the sporadic gunshots and the calls we got. So we alerted all our units within Akpo here, and that was how they moved to Ogbogoro, and our boys in the Ogbogoro unit intercepted them. And by the exchange of gunfire, 2 of them were fatally wounded. We recovered 1 G3, handed over to Ozwoba police station, and the fatally wounded persons were also handed to Ozwoba police stations with the vehicle, and then some escaped.
The police are yet to speak in this. A magistrate court in Port Harcourt has remanded one David Alonge at the Port Harcourt Correctional Centre for alleged defilement of a 3-year-old female child. David Alonge, was a teacher at a private school in Rumodumaya in Obiakpo local government area, was arraigned for allegedly defiling the child who is a pupil of the school. The suspect did not take a plea on arraignment as the charge was not read to him. Chief Magistrate Oge adjourned the case to the 6th of September for proper arraignment of the suspects. The University of Calabar has suspended a high-ranking professor after a protest by female students accused him of sexual harassment. Recall that on Monday, around 30 female students demonstrated on campus holding up placards detailing graphic accusations against the academic. Professor Cyril Edifon has denied the allegations. The Dean of Student Affairs at the university, Tony Enyang, said investigations began after the protest. A report by an international non-governmental organization, Save the Children International, says more than 1,680 school children have been kidnapped in Nigeria since the 2014 abduction of 276 schoolgirls from Chibok in Borno State. The report was unveiled by the Permanent Secretary of the Federal Ministry of Education, David Adejo, among other stakeholders. The organization said fear of attacks has stopped some children from ever attending school. Rivers State House of Assembly today held a special valedictory session for late Stephen Ezekwan, who was the Speaker of the Third Assembly. The valedictory session, which was presided over by Deputy Speaker of the House, Dumale Mao, had both new and former lawmakers, including Otelemaba Amakri, who was the Speaker of the Seventh Assembly. They took turns to eulogize the late Speaker. On his part, the Deputy Speaker Dumale Maho called on the lawmakers to live a worthy life.
Therefore, I will try to that all of you are coming here to the city of English as all of us. Every one of them will be 9% from that the first time that this kind of situation where that number of common members for us to take this act and go to the because of who he was when we like 1 year. If you are alive and you don't know
that the House are joined to next week Thursday for continuation of plenary. Traders whose goods were destroyed in the fire incident at the Impolu Oroworuko ultra-modern market, popularly known as Mile 3 Market, on Tuesday, say names have been collated for compensation. The traders who made this known to our correspondent said the chairman of Port Harcourt City Local Government Area, Allwell Iunda, offered to rebuild their shops and pay them compensation. They, however, called for speedy payment of compensation as the business is their only source of livelihood.
They said our local government chairman wants to compensate us for our loss. I'm happy, I'm very happy. And we don't know the urgent it will be for them. So we have a lot of damages here. We lost a lot. They took our shop numbers and our names.
We have given the shop numbers. It's the only 12 shop compensate. So the remaining ones to work there. The reason is that their goods is not damaged like others. It's only their roof and ceilings that were after the rain that affect their goods and other things.
I'm a government chairman. Other people that push it. The remaining will be working them. It's not proper.
Still to come, WHO detects new cases of circulating variant poliovirus in Nigeria. Stay tuned as we go for a very short commercial break.
This is the news on 92.3 Nigeria Info.
Thank you for staying tuned. You're still listening to the major news at 6 on 92.3 Nigeria Info. Now to the rest of the newscast. The Court of Appeal in Abuja today dismissed an appeal brought by Senator Smart Adeyemi seeking to nullify the primary election of the APC in Kogi State ahead of the state's governorship election on November 11. The appellate court held that the appeal argued by Senator Adeyemi's lawyer does not have merit. The Nigerian Maritime and Safety Agency NIMASA has faulted claims by human rights lawyer Femi Falana that the agency purchased 3 properties in the UK. Mr. Falana had made the claim on Channels Television today. But the Master's spokesman, Osage Edward, described the comment as false, saying the agency has not acquired any property in any foreign country in over 30 years. The World Health Organization (WHO) says 51 new cases of circulating variant poliovirus have been detected in Nigeria. WHO country representative in Nigeria, Dr. Walter Mulumbo, who made this known, said the variant was detected from January to August 13. He said the Northwest Zone accounting for 92% of the new cases. Now in business. Analysts and experts say the $3 billion loan secured by the Nigerian National Petroleum Company (NNPC) Limited to stabilize the Naira will not permanently address the challenges associated with the removal of subsidy. A business analyst, Ignatius Chukwu, while speaking on the implications of the loan, told correspondent Ibi Ruwari that it is a window-dressing approach by the federal government to ease tension following the rising exchange rate of the dollars.
What it is a loan. It is a loan taken only for single purpose loan. It's dedicated to one item. This loan will be paid with crude. That's the meaning of this loan. And NPC is the dealer in crude. They have been told, borrow this money on our behalf, pay back on our behalf. What matters is to ease passage of petroleum products for now. The government has no option than to come back and arrest the situation. That is why people like us are saying, before you remove subsidy, a tactical meeting ought to have been held.
Mr. Chukwu is also the regional editor of Business Day newspaper, said the recent loan has shown that the government is running a deregulated and interventionist economy.
So the government has simply acted in bowing to the fact that through deregulation, it has shown that the forces in the market that have been hiding for years, now that they are all showing up, both seen and unseen, are trying to overwhelm the government. The CBN in particular, the promise that they will be intervening if they need be. It shows that we are now going into deregulation on one hand and intervention on the other hand. Borrow this money so that the NPC will have enough money to pay for fuel. This is just to pepper the crisis. But for how long will it go?
On his part, an economist with the University of Port Harcourt, Orwell Intiga, said the loan is another way of reintroducing subsidy regime, but steps taken to address challenges facing petroleum marketers. Okay, taking it again. On his part, an economist with the University of Port Harcourt, Orwell Intiga, said the loan is not another way of reintroducing subsidy regime, but steps taken to address challenges facing petroleum marketers in the country.
Loan from the African Bank is not a way of reintroducing subsidy, but it is a deal between NNPC and the foreign buyers of our crude. What they've done is to pay in advance for crude that they will buy from us, from Nigeria, through NNPC. This is aimed at providing liquidity, which is the major problem in terms of forex in the local economy, so that those that are importing petroleum product, those who have access at an affordable rate.
Dr. Ntiga, however, expressed fears that the loan should not be diverted by the government for frivolous purposes.
Our fears as an economist is that it should not be abused, because if we have more forex, let it not be diverted, from productive venture into some frivolous consumptions like excessive overseas trip by our leaders and some other means. Such funds should be channeled to the productive sector, those that have genuine reason for importation that will improve the living condition of the people.
Recall that the government, through NNPCL, secured a $3 billion loan from the Afrexim Bank to help stabilize the exchange rate markets. In entertainment, American rapper Young Capone has died at the age of 35, just weeks after he reportedly went missing in Chicago. In sports, Liverpool have signed midfielder Wataru Endo from Stuttgart for a fee of about £16 million. The deal is subject to a work permit and international clearance. The 30-year-old Japan international has agreed a 4-year contract. On the foreign scene, a British nurse, Lucy Letby, has been found guilty of killing 7 babies who were being looked after on a neonatal ward. The incident happened at the Countess of Chester Hospital between June 2015 and June 2016. She has also been found guilty of attempting to kill another 6 babies. The 33-year-old denied all 22 charges against her, blaming the deaths on hospital hygiene and staffing levels. She will be sentenced on Monday morning in Manchester. On the news this evening, you heard local vigilantes have killed 2 suspected kidnappers in Ubogoro community, River State. The magistrate court has remanded a teacher for allegedly defiling a 3-year-old. Faga Council Chairman has promised to pay compensation to Mile 3 market traders affected by Tuesday's fire incident. River State House of Assembly today held a special valedictory session for late former Speaker Stephen Ezekwem. UNICEF has asked the federal government to prosecute bandits for raping, killing women and children. And on the foreign scene, British nurse found guilty of murdering 7 babies. The news was edited by Martha Okere Inkem. Cloudy weather expected in Port Harcourt this evening. To reach the news team, call, send SMS or WhatsApp. The number 0808 721 7215. Again, 0808 721 7215. Peace is the path to the prosperity of a nation. Let peace reign. I am Kalada Kurubatubo. Good evening and do stay tuned.